Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes you dive into source material and it just feels like you've been handed, I don't know, the keys to the universe.
Oh, definitely.
That's really what today feels like. We're plunging into this incredibly dense collection of texts that sit right at this dizzying intersection of temporal physics, these huge cosmic entities, and frankly, one man's really complex quest for revenge, all kind of wrapped up in scientific ambition.
It really is an epic conflict described in these sources. And they do something pretty extraordinary. They give us almost a functional map of creation itself. I mean, we're talking about beings that exist so far outside our usual understanding of time. They're almost abstract concepts.
Right.
Yet they're interacting with technology that could literally unravel existence.
Yeah.
So our mission today really is to decode this thing called the Titan Array and try to understand the catastrophic forces that got unleashed when human ambition sort of collided with these ancient cosmic rules.
Okay, so before we really jump in, let's maybe ground ourselves a little. To navigate this cosmic battlefield, you really need to grasp three core ideas. First, there's the Titan Ray itself. It's a high-energy physics device, but the texts describe it less like programming and more like playing a musical instrument, which is fascinating.
Yeah, it really is.
Second, the Lux Eterna. That's framed as the universe's fundamental energy source. And third, these beings called the chronovores, time eaters, who apparently feed on that source.
Exactly. And to understand the players who get caught up in this Titan Array mess, you have to realize this isn't like a new conflict. It's more like a new front opening up in a war that's ancient, really ancient.
Okay, let's unpack that hierarchy then. We're dealing with beings called the Eternals, like Elektra and Prometheus, according to the sources. And then there's this terrifying council of guardians described as a horrific, six-fold god.
Yeah, that imagery is intense. And Prometheus, one of these Eternals, apparently committed some kind of terrible transgression, broke the ancient covenant, his punishment. It was his entire timeline just unraveled. String by superstring, as the text puts.
Wow, okay, string by superstring.
Yeah, and this is where, the whole concept of time gets really messy, because even though Prometheus was erased, his seed, an avatar, was somehow preserved inside Elektra.
Right.
But the Guardians immediately seized this avatar, imprisoned it in something called the Crystal of Kronos. And that avatar became known as Kronos, the greatest, apparently, of the chronovores.
So wait, his descendant becomes one of these reality consumers.
Exactly. It's like the universe itself punished Prometheus by twisting his legacy into a being that feeds on time. It's not just family drama, it's cosmic irony almost.
Okay, so let's talk about those consumers then. The chronovores. The texts describe them existing as, get this, six-dimensional polymorphic lattices of photinos and chronons.
I know, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, six-dimensional lattices, photinos. Can we, pull that back a bit? What's the simplest way for you, the listener, to picture a chronovore? Are they physical?
Well, physical is tricky. Think of them more as systems, complex systems, maybe like the gardeners of the multiverse, but their gardening tool is consumption. They maintain order by eating deviations, basically.
Time eaters.
Functionally, yeah, time eaters. And their form, those complex lattices you mentioned, it's necessary because their food source, the Lux Eterna, is just as complex, maybe even more so.
And the Lux Eterna is?
It's described as the highest form of energy, an 11-dimensional lattice, again with the lattices, of unimaginable power, tapped, apparently, from the seething primal force of the quantum foam. It's the raw stuff of existence itself.
Yeah.
And the chronovores, they're essentially addicted to it.
Which brings us to this crucial law you mentioned, the ancient covenant. Forged, the texts say, right at the Big Bang, event 1.
Yeah. The very beginning. And that covenant is like the cornerstone of cosmic stability. It dictates that chronovores are absolutely forbidden from leaving their twin domains, which are Calabi-Yau space and the time vortex, unless they're explicitly summoned.
Calabi-Yau space. That sounds familiar from physics.
It is. For our purposes here, you can think of it as the hidden architecture of the universe, where all the extra dimensions are curled up really tightly, breaching it. That's like opening a back door into reality itself. It's not supposed to happen.
And this is where the history gets even denser, apparently. There's this hidden conflict revealed called the Millennium War.
Yes.
Triggered when some group called the Constructors of Destiny, another mysterious godlike race, built something called the Mind of Bophemeral, which is actually the great attractor, the black hole itself.
Unbelievably, yes. They tried to build a supercomputer out of a supermassive black hole's singularity. essentially to understand the universe.
Which sounds ambitious.
Reckless, according to the Guardians. They, along with the Time Lords, actually led by Rassilon, thought this was way too dangerous. So they suppressed the entire history, wiped the Millennium War from collective memory.
Just erased it.
Erased it.
Yeah.
The only thing left, the sources say, is this memorial. The Midnight Cathedral, carved into the moon. It's this silent monument to forgotten recklessness. And that is the sort of dark stage setting for the human crisis that unfolds.
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy backdrop. But the immediate human drama, it seems to start with something more personal. Guilt. Immense guilt. We pivot to the Doctor, who's just incapacitated by it.
Yeah, he's tormented. He blames himself for a miscalculation that led to the nuclear destruction of a planet called Marabnius, billions dead.
And this guilt, it sort of connects back to that ancient theme, doesn't it?
Yep.
Prometheus broke the cosmic rules. The Doctor feels he broke his own moral rules.
Absolutely. He thinks he tried to play God, and he's punishing himself for it. His companion, Mel, actually leaves him over this very thing, throwing that exact accusation at him. This kind of broken moral state, well, it creates the perfect opening for the real villain to make a move.
Right. Enter the technology. The Titan Array, Trans-Interstitial Time Analysis Network, built by these two scientists, Paul Kairos and Arlene Cole, at West London University.
And Titan is revolutionary. You have to contrast it with its predecessor, Tom MTIT, which was, frankly, a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 30 years prior. Tom TIT was compromised by the Master. He was disguised as a Professor Thaskel's, and the result was catastrophic. It released Kronos, the carnivore we mentioned.
Avatar.
The Avatar, yeah. Destroyed Atlantis, apparently, and instantly aged one of the scientists, Stuart Hyde, by decades. Just like that. It proved that peeking behind time's curtain, extremely dangerous.
But Titan is different, more dangerous. The sources describe Kairos and Cole treating it less like programming, more like playing that musical instrument. Why is that analogy so critical?
Because it implies intuition.
Right.
Improvisation, not just cold, hard code. Titan lets them surf the quantum foam, which sounds poetic, but it means they aren't just calculating reality. They're kind of improvising with it, especially Paul Kairos.
How so?
He designed it using pure intuition. The text says he could feel the equations in his mind. This very personal, intuitive connection to temporal physics is exactly what makes Titan so dangerous. It's like an improvised key turning in a lock it shouldn't open. Like a beacon.
A beacon for the chronovores.
Exactly. The Doctor sees it immediately. Titan is designed to breach Calabial space, that hidden dimension. He warns them, look, doing this will light a beacon. It turns humanity into, well, fodder is the word used, a gourmet meal for the Time Eaters, powered by the Lux Eterna.
And meanwhile, the antagonist is lurking. The Master, currently in not great shape, the rotting body of Trimus.
Yeah, he's desperate, literally holding himself together with the dregs of the source of Tragan. He needs immortality, and he sees the Lux Eterna via Titan as his ticket. So he's hiding his TARDIS near Heathrow, using some serious stolen tech, an osmotic projector, a Dardis core, a vortex cloak, just to stay hidden.
And his plan, it relies on digging up old secrets.
Pretty much. He makes this risky psychic dive into the Time Lord Matrix, not for some grand strategy, but basically scavenging forgotten history, forgotten tech specs, anything to fuel his plot to grab Titan. And he finds his leverage. He hypnotizes Angelica Whitefriar.
She's the university's director of marketing, and an inventor herself, the Whitefriar lattice.
That's her. Clever. Successful. The Master uses her to manipulate Paul and Arlene and eventually lure the Doctor, Paul, and Stuart Hyde. He's had this bizarre experience where he stumbled into a reverse time zone and is suddenly 25 again.
Wait, Stuart is de-aged?
Temporarily, yeah.
Yeah.
Just adds to the chaos. He lures them all into this warehouse trap near Heathrow.
And the trap involves time itself.
Oh, yeah. It's a temporal nightmare inside. Time's flowing at different rates in different spots. Moving normally is impossible. The Master thinks he has them.
But the Doctor, he improvises, right? With office furniture.
He does. It's kind of brilliant in its absurdity. Trapped by complex temporal mechanics, he needs a stable point, a bubble in time. So he cobbles together this crude time flow analog using, yes, 3 swivel chairs, a hat stand, and a chair he finds lying around.
Okay. And how does he power this contraption?
This is the best part. Stuart Hyde's hip flask, pours the liquor over it.
No way.
Yes. And somehow it works, creates this temporary still point, an anchor in the crazy time flows, this little moment of, like, ridiculous genius amidst the cosmic horror.
So the Doctor escapes, but the Master still gets the prize.
He does. While they're escaping, the Master dematerializes his TARDIS around the entire Titan suite. just scoops it up. Then he integrates it into the structure of the Midnight Cathedral back on the moon. He's got the tech, he's got the location, he's ready to become a god.
Okay, so the ritual begins
Yeah.
on the moon.
Yes. The master tries to sacrifice Angelica, use her as a conduit to channel the Lux Eterna into himself. But here's the human factor again. Angelica, completely unknown to the master, had secretly rigged Titan to self-destruct if tampered with.
Ah, a hidden failsafe.
Exactly. So instead of killing her, the Lux Eterna, this immense power, binds with Angelica herself and with the mind of Ephemeral, that ancient black hole supercomputer, which apparently gets reactivated in the process.
Wait, so Angelica and the black hole merge with the universe's energy source.
Sort of, yeah. The resulting entity is called the Quantum Archangel. It possesses limitless cosmic power, the greatest intellect in existence thanks to Ephemeral. But crucially, it also has Angelica's human moral compass.
And that's bad. A moral compass sounds good.
In this case, it's catastrophic, because the Archangel, driven by Angelica's desire to fix things, immediately tries to make everything right. But it does so through these massive, uncontrolled reality shifts. Things just start changing.
Like what?
Well, the patent for the Whitefriar lattice suddenly changes to the Kairos lattice. Stuart Hyde finds himself living an alternate life where he got the directorship he always wanted. Mel, the Doctor's former companion, suddenly becomes prime minister in one reality flicker. Arlene Cole becomes a concert diva in another, its reality unraveling through good intentions.
Wild, uncontrolled shifts, like the Chronovore's dinner bell ringing constantly.
Exactly. The Archangel is trying to fix the universe based on human emotional needs, but the sheer scale of the power involved is just tearing reality apart. And now we get to the big twist. The central deception.
Okay, I'm ready.
The real mastermind behind everything. It's revealed to be Paul Kairos.
The scientist, Arlene's fiancé.
Yes. Paul Kairos is Kronos, the avatar of Prometheus and Electra, the Chronovore, the entire human persona, the brilliant scientist, the intuitive physicist who felt the equations, the loving fiancé. All of it was a deliberate construct, a mask.
Titan, his relationship with Arlene, it was all engineered.
All of it. His entire purpose in existing as Paul Kairos was to create Titan, lure the master into using it, and ultimately use the master as a pawn, a sacrifice.
For what?
Revenge. Millennia-old revenge against the Chronovores, the beings who imprisoned him in that crystal for eons. He created Paul Kairos as this perfect insertion into human reality, specifically to build a machine that would facilitate this cosmic betrayal.
Wow. That's layers upon layers of deception.
G cover doesn't even begin to describe it.
Okay, so final battle. The Quantum Archangel, this new god, confronts the Doctor and offers him the ultimate temptation, right? Restore Meridius, erase his guilt.
Exactly. The ultimate test. Everything he's tormented by wiped clean.
And the Doctor.
He refuses.
Yeah.
He holds on to that terrible lesson from Meridius. You cannot play God. You can't just erase consequences, no matter how painful. The tragedy has to stand as a reminder of the cost of power. It's this huge moral statement separating him from the Master, from the Archangel, even from Kronos.
So with reality collapsing, the Doctor and the Master actually team up, briefly.
An extremely uneasy alliance, yeah. They combine the power of their TARDISes to try and counter the Archangel. The Doctor even goes a step further, absorbing the Lux Eterna directly into himself somehow, trying to stabilize the chaos. A huge risk. But the final move? It's Kronos, Paul. It's Kronos, wearing the face of Paul. He makes the ultimate sacrifice. He attacks the singularity at the heart of the mind of Ephemeral. This causes the great attractor, the black hole, to essentially explode a hypernova. It traps the insane supercomputer mind and stops the Archangel's reality-altering chaos, saving the universe.
His revenge is complete, but he destroys himself in the process.
Exactly. The agent fulfills his purpose and is consumed by it.
And the story ends back on Earth with a final twist.
A really poignant one. The Doctor returns the survivors Arlene, Stuart, to Earth. He reveals that Kronos' sacrifice didn't erase everything associated with his construct. Paul Kairos, the human persona, was created so perfectly, integrated so deeply into reality. He had a birth certificate, a history, people who loved him, that he actually became real. Irrevocably real through his existence.
So Paul just reappears.
He materializes, alive, whole. The human Paul Kairos, freed from the Kronos persona, he reunites with Arlene, who's just stunned. It's a beautiful, almost bittersweet grace note.
So wrapping this up, this temporal warfare, it came at a massive cost. The Doctor momentarily embracing godlike power, the Master's plan failing spectacularly, and this huge revelation about Paul Kairos.
Yeah, one of Earth's greatest scientific minds turning out to be this ancient cosmic being bent on revenge. It's a lot.
We've really seen how ambition, technology that was designed just to understand reality, not necessarily control it, and all this immense emotional baggage from these cosmic beings,
Yeah.
how it can all combine to basically put the entire space-time continuum at risk.
And that human desire, Angelico's desire to make everything right, amplified by cosmic power. That became the Archangel's catastrophic impulse, good intentions paving the road to temporal hell, essentially.
What really stands out, though, for me is the sheer complexity of Kronos' plan. He didn't just target other cosmic beings or the Master. He inserted himself into human history as Paul Kairos.
Right. A brilliant scientist, yes, but also a fiancé, a friend, presumably a colleague people trusted. It suggests that maybe the greatest weapon in this whole saga wasn't Titan, wasn't even the Lux Eterna. Maybe it was the capacity for deep, meaningful human connection and the potential for devastating betrayal that comes with it.
That really leads us to a final provocative thought for you, the listener. If Paul Kairos, who was explicitly created as a tool, a construct purely for revenge, could somehow be made real just by the sheer weight of his human life, his love for Arlene, his work, his everyday actions, what might that imply about our own reality?
Hmm.
Are we perhaps simply the sum of our genuine connections, our actions, maybe our intentions, regardless of where we ultimately came from or what our initial purpose might have been?
It's definitely something to think about. The power of just living a life.
Yeah, something to mull over next time you look up at the stars, or maybe just look across the room at someone you care about.